Alright, so I also thought I was going to talk about the new trailer for Spectre. Quite simply, I like what I see so far. I really, really enjoy the various references to On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is one of the best Bond films, very easily. You can kind of tell that right away. For those who haven't seen Her Majesty's Secret Service, the film ends with a pretty famous amongst Bond fans shot of a bullet entrance through a windshield. It's really sad. It's probably it's the darkest of the Bond films until the Dalton era, and it's one of the more dramatic overall. But it does that really well. I'll talk more about what I like about Secret Service as it pertains, just in general, but especially as it pertains to the Spectre trailer. But the Spectre trailer, first of all, has the theme from On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now, Secret Service was the first James Bond film without Sean Connery, and that was huge. And it was the only one with George Lazenby, which was a shame, because after that we got a terrible Connery film, and the overall pretty lackluster Moore era. But they were going to change the Bond theme itself. Have a different Bond theme for each Bond actor. That's a kind of cool idea. That's some of the best music in the franchise. Both the Louis Armstrong song and the John Barry orchestra. Very Moog heavy theme. So I'm glad that they're bringing that back, especially since that is the most intimate Spectre story, and there are lots of kind of visual shout-outs to that film in this. The main evil lair in Secret Service is in the Swiss Alps. It appears that one of the main layers in Spectre is going to be in the Austrian Alps, and I really think they're both visually striking places. I like snow and mountains, so there's a lot of James Bond on a beach. Usually he's oftentimes in the Bahamas, so it's good to see him away from getting a tan, experiencing as you can see, I'm quite pale, so I don't like the sun. But yeah, the one thing I'm concerned about with Spectre is that it has had a lot of rewrites. Now, Skyfall's script is a bit sloppy. The movie's awesome. It's one of the best in the franchise. It has some plot holes. The thing about plot holes, though, is that they don't matter as long as you're engaged in the film. Okay? Terminator 2 is perhaps the best sequel of all time, one of the best action films of all time. It has substantial plot holes. It moves at a clip, though, and you're always engaged with the characters, so it doesn't really matter. Things where it does matter are when they're so huge and the film is so bizarrely paced, or there's just something off to begin with. It's a symptom and not the only cause of a film's problems, especially if you can feel it. So for me, the definitive drag down by plot hole films is Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight Rises doesn't suffer because of the plot hole. It suffers in addition because of the plot holes, not only because of that. The pacing of the film is very weird, and once you kind of have time to breathe and think, wait, this makes sense, you're already kind of screwed to begin with. But I have confidence in the director that, first of all, he just makes great films. They're always emotionally resonant. They move at a good pace, not too fast, which is a master on some things, but not too slow either. But I'm a bit worried that the script might make not a lot of sense. That being said, though, I am super excited for Spectre. I do love Bond films. As I said before, they're one of the formative things in my youth. And I like Daniel Craig's turn so far. Even Quantum of Solace, which had major issues with the scripts, but and with the direction. But once again, I didn't really care. I don't know what they do about some films. Yeah, I'm glad the film came out. I'm glad I really like how they're referencing older Bond films in a kind of honoring way. Occasionally the series has been very self-referential in a really dumb way. If you've listened to me on Snapchat, the first bad film live riff thing I did was for one of my least favorite Bond movies. What's it called? This is the last Brosnan one. Buy Another Day. Die Another Day. Sometimes called Buy Another Day because it has like 33 product placements or something. It's absurd. Literally, there's a scene where he just shaves off his beard to show you that there's an electronic shaver in there. And that's asinine. That film fails on a lot of fronts, though. But that movie has a kind of Where's Waldo. They try to reference every single Bond film before it. And in very overt and gratuitous ways. Sometimes a nice, subtle nod is good. And I like that. Slightly more continuity. Not like a really continuity series, which I'm fine with. But just like enough to like show some character development over the course of the half a century it's been going on. Or to kind of like reference past directors and past takes on the character. But from what I can tell, Sam Mendes does that in a very respectful way. I'm pretty stoked to see this movie. I loved Skyfall. I loved Casino. And I love Secret Service. It's one of the most underrated Bond films amongst non-Bond fans. Bond fans will usually rank in like the top 3. It's actually the film that Eon, the company that makes these movies, is most proud of. But once again, thumbs up for that trailer. I feel kind of stupid talking about a trailer. It's a very common thing in the film industry to do at this point. And the hype is nice sometimes, but really you should be talking about the films and how it's on various merits. But that being said, though, Bond is such a kind of important part of my psyche, I guess, that it seemed right that I would comment on it. Alright, cool. And I forgot that I named this at the gym, while I was at the gym. The name of the series from now on will be Cool and or Uncool Things. I was thinking of Check This Shit Out or Shit I Like. A little blobbity bloobity. Whatever. This is vague enough because I will occasionally just tear things apart, especially films like Samurai Cop, which I will definitely talk about in the next few weeks. Alright, I'll see you guys later.